Hey everyone, and welcome back to Taslima Maya Art. Today we're doing a deep hands-on review of the Resiners Air Purifier, the PurAir model with that Advanced Resin VOC Filter that everyone's been talking about recently. A lot has changed in the air purifier world, so is this still worth buying in 2025? And is that Black Friday price of $149.99 actually worth jumping on? We're going to cover everything you need to know before you spend a cent, so let's dive in. Now I'm going to start at the beginning. I have had this purifier for almost 7 or 8 months now, and I've been using it for all my resin crafting and my acrylic pouring, so it's buzzing away in the background. But I'm going to show you the unboxing once again, just to show you how it comes packaged when it arrives. So air purifiers are a must-have for anyone working with any type of resin product for very obvious health and safety reasons. Whether you're crafting jewellery, creating art pieces, or making home decor with epoxy resin, air purifiers help to keep your space a little more safer and breathable. You've probably seen dozens of purifiers, right, on the market, but very few are actually designed to handle resin fumes, VOCs, and fine particulates from arts, crafts, 3D printing, and usually small studio spaces. And it does appear to be nicely packed to keep everything safe during shipping. So this is what it looks like inside. So the instruction guide for the Resiners Air Purifier. Okay, we've got safety information, contents, getting to know your air purifier, getting started, using it, care and maintenance, specifications and warranty. Yeah, it looks pretty straightforward. User manual, filter which is pre-installed, power adapter, and an air purifier itself. Some information about the filters and some of the different settings on here. We've got display screen, touch buttons, main housing unit, air outlet, air inlet, handle position, filter cartridge, and charging power supply. And I'll have a little read through this, looking at the various different air quality levels that it kind of gauges. And I really, because I suffer from asthma, I think it's really important to make sure you have lots of ventilation, you're wearing PPE, and you also have something like an air purifier in your room. So why is having a really good air purifier critical for when you're working with resin? Well, resin releases harmful resin VOCs into your environment. Total volatile organic compounds are a group of organic chemicals, and exposure to high levels of these can pose significant health risks, including respiratory issues, headaches, dizziness, and irritation of the eyes, nose, and throat. Prolonged exposure may lead to more serious conditions such as liver and kidney damage, so it's really important to protect yourself. And even with a good quality air purifier, you should be using PPE as well. The PurAir from Resiners claims to protect us against smoke, odors, dust, pollen, allergens, resin VOCs as well as regular VOCs, and pet dander. This one specifically targets epoxy resin fumes, which is really useful for those of us who like crafting with resin. This is the power cable, quite long actually. It's quite a really lengthy power cable, which is nice because I can position it in different parts of the room. And then let's take this out. I've got some really sturdy packaging here, so we know it's safe. On first impressions, the design looks sleek and minimal for the PurAir, which is perfect for any craft space as it fits in with whichever decor you have. It appears to be compact and well designed and shouldn't take up too much space in the craft room. It's roughly about 17 inches, about 45 centimetres. 17 to 18 inches, so that's really quite big. I didn't expect it to be this big, but I'm glad in a way. It means it's a really good heavy duty product. Now we're going to lift it out and move the box off and get it down there. Whoop, it's rolling on its side a little bit, and we'll just pop it up. It's probably super tall for this stand for you to see it properly, but if I just get the packaging off, wow. It's not too heavy, mind, and I can see the filters across the bottom there. I think they're the filters, and you can also see the settings and the buttons at the top. Looking at the design and build quality, the unit does have a clean, minimalistic look with rounded edges, matte finish, and a simple top-mounted controls. It weighs a little more than other purifiers this size class too, but that's usually a sign of a stronger motor and thicker filtration layers, which is super cool. So it detects alcohol gas, better avoid long exposure to high alcohol environments. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much what it looks like. I'm going to plug it in and switch it on and see how that goes, and hopefully it'll be a lot more purer, the air that I do my resin crafting, the room and environment that I'm in, and a lot safer as well. So super exciting. Thank you, Resiners, for this product. I can't wait to tell you how it goes. So let's look at the filter setup and look at the PurAir in a little bit more detail. This is the filter, and it comes packaged in a clear packaging, and I've taken it out. There's the various different components of the PurAir as you take it apart. It's very easy to take her apart, and I'm going to be putting the filter in. It's got a marking on there that says the filter has to go this way up. So here I am, it just slots right in there and sits in there. And there's this connector here that needs to be plugged in. So I'm going to grab it by the handle at the top. It's actually super light, surprisingly, despite the size there. And I'm going to lift it up and plug that little socket in, so it'll be working properly. And then you just place the cover on top. So I had to have a good look at where the area was, where it kind of slots in, but it didn't take too long. There it is, and it's all ready. I just need to put in the AC adapter now, the plug, and it just goes in the back at the base there, very, very easily. There's the handle. Turn it around and place it where you want it to be in your craft room. It doesn't have to be super close, of course. And the first thing it does when you switch it on is it starts circulating the air. There's a switch on button. And the reason it's flashing is because of this camera. It's not because it's actually flashing in real life, by the way. So ignore the flashing. It's actually very static. And it's really measuring the purity of the air in my craft room at the moment. Now there's this lovely auto button, which I love, because when you click the auto button, it automatically detects the air, and you can leave the room for a whole day, and if it finds any VOCs or picks any up with the sensor, like I'm going to do a little test here to show you. This is turpentine, a little bottle, a tiny little bottle of turpentine. I'm going to leave it next to and see if it flashes. So it's got 3 different colours. Here I am trying to get it to, oh look, quickly, it's picked it up straight away. It works. So you can do this with any number of different things that are in the air, impurities in the air that are not good for us to breathe in as human beings and are detrimental to our health. So I'll go through some examples of other things this would pick it up. But that picked it up really, really quickly. Those sensors are really good. And I've just demonstrated that very, very quickly for you. And it's going to clean the air now. So we switch the fan on. There's a couple of settings with the fan, and you can manually change them. Look at these are a number of different products. There's an aerosol varnish as well as a liquid brush on varnish, and obviously these both give off solvents and impurities and VOCs, which are really bad for us. There's also pigments, so this device actually picks up pigments that might be flying around, airborne pigments which you can't see with the human eye, that you might breathe in and would have a long-term detrimental effect over time. So it picks those up and filters them out as well. The filter is amazing on this. So I've read quite a lot about it. I've seen kind of other products on the market as well, and I've been using it for almost a year now in my art room, in my craft room, with all different types of resin projects on the go, as you can see from my channel. And it also, I mean, if you're doing resin art, you use this product, which is alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and that's when you spray that on your resin crafts, often it goes into the airborne and you end up breathing it in, so that would also be filtered out. So there's quite a lot of products in a crafter's craft room which are actually super bad for us, and unless you've got an air filter, really good quality one like this, you are, putting yourself at risk, as well as other people who might later come into the room. This is acrylic paint, and acrylic paint, as well as house paint, or wall paint as it's known, can also give off fumes and things that are nasties. This is another tube of acrylic paint. I obviously use these a lot in my painting, fine art, or acrylic pouring activities. And I have been lightheaded in the past, or felt a bit dizzy and forgot to open a window. So it's good to have the window open, have ventilation, as well as having all of your PPE on and your mask or respirator. That's WD-40, by the way. So these are all products I'm showing you, which if you're going to be using these products, the filter would kick in, and that red light would kick in, and it would start filtering out all the nasties for you. This is obviously resin by J Diction, which I use. UV resin, the same thing. I mean, most of the products we have in an art room, art craft room, unfortunately they do give off certain fumes and VOCs, volatile organic compounds, which are bad for us on the long term. So keep the ventilation going, keep the fans on and a window open. This is Floetrol again. This is strong smelling stuff, you know, and we use it as cell activators in acrylic pouring world. So if I was using that, you know, it would be great to have that fan kicking in. And this is just silk paint. Again, wall paint has fumes. So if you're painting your walls in your house or decorating, this is super great to have anyway. Or if you suffer from hay fever as well, it's really good for that as well. And that's a torch. Obviously, if you're torching paint as well, think about all of the terrible things that come off paint when you're torching it. Ideally, you shouldn't really be doing it, but to get the bubbles, often a lot of people do. This is spray varnish, and even if you spray varnish your painting outdoors, later on when you bring it in, it's still giving off fumes, you see, and this is picking it up. And the fact that it was switched to red straight away and it picked that up is really heartening for me, because I know it's working. And you can see it was right up to 9.99 and it went all the way down. That was the highest setting, where it kicked in and said there's, you know, impurities in the air, the filter needs to switch on, the fan is switched on, and it's slowly going down. You can see the numbers there, it's going right down to 2.9 there, and it shows that it's actually working. It's cleaning the air, gone to 1.0 now, and it's gone back to green. It works! I'm so excited. I'm really pleased it works. And I did do a few more tests. I didn't want this video to be too long. And I did mix up some cell activator, and it kicked in a bit. It took a bit longer, but it kicked in. I tried spraying some varnish. It kicked in and went red. And it's really helpful, honestly. It's really, really helpful. Also tells you what temperature the room is at, which I find super useful. So it's really cool settings on there. And I'm really happy I managed to test this out and find that it works super, super well. Well done, Resiners. And having used this product for almost a year in my crafting, I really do rate it. This device is a game changer, I think, for anyone working with epoxy resin. So whether you're mixing, pouring or sanding resin, harmful fumes like VOCs, volatile organic compounds, are being released into the air, whether we know it or not. And that's where the PurAir Air will come in. It's designed to trap those fumes and make your workspace safer to breathe in. I managed to read around some of the key features it has as well. It does have an advanced filtration system and uses multi-stage filtration system, including a HEPA filter to capture fine particles like resin dust, and carbon filter to absorb harmful fumes. So it's got a 2-layer filtration, and that's crucial because it reduces the VOCs released in the air and helps purify the air. So as I mentioned before, it's compact and portable as well. It's lightweight, making it super portable, and you can place it right on your desk near your resin project, or move it between different crafting areas if you like. One thing I really like about it is how quietly it runs. Even at the highest settings with the fans, it doesn't make too much noise, so you can work peacefully without any distractions. In regards to the filter as well, it's got a long filter life. The filters last for quite a while, about 6 months to a year, depending on how often you use the purifier. Plus the replacement filters are easy to install, as you saw earlier, and affordable. So if you're working in a very small crafting room, for example, this is really useful, especially during the winter when you can't open the windows as wide. And think about the fact that the fumes and VOCs that are being released from your resin projects can actually get stuck to the soft furnishings in your room. So it's a good idea to have a filtration system like this to break down those VOCs and filter them out completely. Now I would say though, the caveat is you still need to wear your respirator, double glove your hands, and take all the other precautions you need to with resin. Just make sure you know that you can't just have this running and do none of the other things. So I was trying to think of something I didn't like about it, and I honestly was I was struggling. I couldn't think of anything that I didn't like about it. I think that if it was a bit smaller, it would be helpful, but it's not too big either. I'm honestly impressed. It's quiet, efficient and compact, and it does a fantastic job of purifying the air while I work on my resin projects. So if you're a resin crafter, I highly recommend it to help improve the air quality in your workspace. So whether you're a hobbyist or you're working with large batches, the PurAir, I think, is a must-have for keeping your environment safe and breathable. Now, you would have noticed through the video I did show you a number of different crafts, resin crafts and acrylic painting, along with paintings and makes that I actually used spray varnish on. Well, the majority of these projects were actually done with this amazing filter air purifier going on in the background in my art room. And honestly, the peace of mind it gives you is second to none. It's great knowing that the environment I'm working in is a lot safer than it would be without it. The pre-filter actually captures hair, dust and large particles so that the main filter lasts longer, and the true HEPA layer within it removes fine particles like pollen, dust mites, smoke, and if you struggle with allergies, this is part doing the heavy lifting as well. And then there's a specialized resin VOC filter, and this is where the PurAir stands out because resin fumes contain volatile organic compounds that most purifiers actually ignore, and this filter uses a special absorbent blend designed to trap chemical odors and VOCs from UV resin, epoxy, adhesives, paints and solvents. And you can see the air being transferred through the unit by just showing you with this tissue. And it's so easy to operate. There's minimal buttons, and you can see there's an auto button, there's intensity of the fan, so you can manually adjust that, as well as having a timer on it so it switches off automatically, and you can change from Fahrenheit to Celsius as well, so really easy to operate. And as I've used it a fair bit in my crafting room, I have changed the filter once. You can buy new filters from Resiners as well, which aren't that expensive. And to be fair, they do last a long time. So here's my amazing air purifier. I absolutely love it. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. And here are all the different resin projects I've worked on in the past year. This is not all of them because I've sold a few, but this video was recorded a while ago, so some of these have already gone, but I've had so much fun and felt safe creating and crafting along with all you lot watching. So I hope you enjoyed this review and it gave you some food for thought. And if you do choose to purchase one of these, do use my discount code, because let's be honest, budget matters, especially for artists. The Black Friday discount brings the PurAir down to $149.99, which is honestly an extremely competitive price for something with a specialized VOC filter. A lot of purifiers in this range don't include any VOC filtration at all, or they sell a VOC filter separately. The sale runs from November the 12th to December the 3rd, 2025. If you've been waiting to invest in a purifier for your studio, this is probably the best time to grab it. So thanks so much for watching. If you found this review helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe and hit the notification bell for more resin tips and product reviews. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you already use an air purifier when crafting with resin? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for joining us on the Creative Art Collective, and up after me will be Let's Pour with Patty, followed by CWV Artistry. I'll see you there. Bye for now.